There are many ways to describe light, but in the end, they all point to the same truth, different languages for the same one reality. Dr. Walter Russell once said, "All matter is simulated light." He also declared, "All matter is crystalline, all matter is frozen light." Hannah described matter as spherical standing waves. And Nikola Tesla reminded us, everything is light. In one of its rays is the destiny of the nations. This idea is not new. Since the early 20th century, scientists have speculated about the possibility of synthesizing atoms from concentrated light. By 2014, bold predictions were made. And between 2020 and 2022, those predictions became reality. Light was turned into atoms. Matter was formed from pure light. These breakthroughs confirm what field physicists like Keely and Russell were saying all along. But to truly grasp this, we need to understand the essence of both the atom and light, and how both are shaped by the infinite ether. Let's begin with the atom. The atom is not a mechanical thing, it's a dynamic structure, a coherent organization of the dielectric field. Its geometry mirrors that of a permanent magnet. Picture a gyroscope spinning within a field, its dielectric inertial plane in balance, yet in constant motion. This isn't just abstract theory, this is the hidden structure of reality. Atoms are not random chunks of mass, but standing waves locked into form by field geometry. A standard atom is like a gyroscope whose axis precesses in many directions. A special kind of atom, like the one that forms a permanent magnet, has a fixed axis of precession, aligned and stable. This stability gives rise to magnetism. And magnetism itself? It's not a thing, it's the dielectric field in motion, the discharge expression of dielectricity. It's not made of particles, it's the rhythm of the ether made visible. Now, what about light? Light is not a particle flying through space. It's a longitudinal disturbance of the dielectric field, a compression and rarefaction on the coaxial circuit. This dielectric motion has both longitudinal and transverse expression, giving light its waveform appearance. The amplitude we see is the transverse compression, but this rests entirely on the longitudinal pulse, like ripples on the surface of deep water. The ether is the medium. And unlike space, which has no properties, as Tesla emphasized, the ether has the highest imaginable elasticity and density. This gives light its near instantaneous propagation, like sound through steel but faster, more refined. The dielectric compresses, and with it appears the illusion of motion, what we call light. But here's the astonishing part, the dielectric geometry of light is almost identical to that of the atom or the permanent magnet. Each light wave contains within it the same structural form. But there is one key difference, light has no torsional dielectric precession along the axis. In light, there is no fixed polarization on the dielectric inertial plane. It's like the seed of a tree that hasn't yet sprouted. Now imagine, if we could compress the dielectric field structure of a light wave just right, and induce the proper torsional precession on its axis, we could transform that wave into an atom. That's the secret. That's the synthesis of light into matter. It's not a miracle. It's geometry, resonance, and the ether. Ken Wheeler captured it in one phrase, raw matter is frozen light. Atoms are condensed dielectrics, light made still. And so we say, atoms and permanent magnets are forms of non-propagating matter. Light, by contrast, is the manifestation of the dielectric field in motion. But even then, light doesn't move. It is a standing wave in the ether, a pulse of induction that unfolds in place. The appearance of movement is simply the shifting of condition within a medium that doesn't exist in space. This is a hard truth to absorb, especially for minds molded by secular science. For centuries, science has separated mind from matter, spirit from field. But the greatest minds, Keely, Russell, Tesla, saw through that illusion. They understood that the ether is not just a physical substrate, but a spiritual one. That consciousness itself is a force within the ether. With ether science, knowledge becomes truly infinite, not just in phenomena, but in spirit. Because spirit is not a byproduct of matter. It is the dominant force of ether. It is the animator of light, the architect of form. Spirit perceives infinity because spirit is the gateway to it. All the forces of nature, Keely wrote, come from one governing force, the source of all energy, of all life. He saw that sympathetic vibrations could unify matter and mind, light and spirit, field and consciousness. In the end, the synthesis of light into atoms is not a chemical trick or quantum event. It is a divine geometry. A sacred transmutation. A whisper of spirit made visible through the living breath of the ether.